Best place to stay for the Boston Marathon is right near the starting area, the Hilton. There's a couple other hotels right there. I went through marathon tours, and it's not cheap, but staying at the hotel, it's maybe it was a little more than a kilometer away from the starting line, but you're the Hilton was attached. I think it was the Hilton was attached to the convention center. Plenty of good restaurants. I always get sushi before a race. Um, Tons of runners connected to the convention center. Um, Walking distance to the starting line, all that good stuff is right there. And so you're going to pay for it, but we got there. It was a 5 day kind of little mini vacation. Totally worth it. If you can stay as close to the start as you can, I would recommend it. For running vest suggestions, I like Osprey. Their Dura 1.5 is really great. I have the previous edition. I've had runners that I coach buy that one. I had just somebody bought the new updated version. It's fantastic. Nobody's complained. It's a really well-established company. They have a really great warranty. If anything goes wrong with it or any of their products, they'll make it right. And I have bags from them. I have 2 vests from them, and they've repaired something with the bag, no questions asked. So the 1.5 is great. I think I have the 6 liter as well, also super comfy. So check out Osprey for hydration bladders, for bags. I think it's a little cheaper alternative than the Solomon stuff, and as far as I can tell from my experience, it's great products. My best pre-run fuel, typically coffee and a banana. That's usually my go-to, for those, like a 5 a.m. run like today. I have a coffee and munch on a banana while doing my warm-up in the driveway. And when the banana's gone, when the coffee cup is empty, leave the coffee cup in the driveway, put the banana in the garbage, and I'm off for my run. And so easy peasy, just simple piece of fruit, some coffee, some water before that, and good to go. So I like to tell the runners I coach that just because a run is easy doesn't mean it's not beneficial, because you still gain training adaptations from an easy run, a run at a conversational pace where you're not laboring out of breath, where you can run with your mouth closed. You can nailing, perfecting true easy running lets you run more consistently, more frequently. You feel better during the runs. You feel better after the runs. You can run farther. All sorts of good stuff. You don't accumulate fatigue run by run, week to week. You can run higher quality, better workouts or long runs because you're recovering during your easy runs, but you're still getting training volume in. There's a heart rate, power, pace, perceived exertion, nasal breathing, lots of different ways to go about. I was just asked if I offer customized training plans via DM, what's the cost and process. So I used to offer customized training plans where we would chat for an hour or so, and then I would write you out a training plan in Final Surge, which would be my best estimated guess on what training would look like. Now, I stopped doing that, and what I started doing was it would be $225 for that. I basically required a month of coaching to kind of really get to know you, get to know your habits, help you improve your training for a month, and then I write out a custom training plan for another 2, maybe 3 months. Now I've actually stopped doing that, and what it has really evolved to is a good one-on-one coaching period for 4 weeks, and then people get a training plan month by month for $100 monthly going forward. And there's no contract. We can quit whenever we want. But that's kind of how it comes to benefits of warming up. The research is back and forth. I recall 1 or 2 studies, actually it's multiple studies that looked at running and maybe more so cycling and the effect of a warm-up. And it kind of found that actually the harder the warm-up, the higher quality the the max effort, the time trial was, whatever the training, the parameter was in the lab. Um, but on the other hand, there's the FIFA 11 Plus soccer warm up that has been found to reduce soccer injuries. And I've actually taken that warm up, and I have a modified version of it for my runners that I coach that they do. And so back and forth. But I feel that the better the warm up, the better I feel. Heel rub in the back of your running shoes could be from a few different reasons. If the shoe is too big or not laced snug enough, then simply figuring out a lacing pattern, tightness to keep your foot more secure could do the trick. Maybe taller socks. I hate to say buy this to solve this product of a shoe, but taller socks could help. My Nike 4% and Alpha Flies, $250 shoes, super comfortable, but the high heels are a problem. Another thing is if it's due to a lot of cushioning, just pushing in on the shoe and pushing in on your Achilles, you could try to cut off some of that padding, or rub some Vaseline or deodorant in the materials. Okay, so here's some thoughts on heart rate. And if you think that you're running at a truly easy conversational effort, a speed and effort where you could maybe run with your mouth closed, at least have a pretty normal conversation, but your heart rate is still skyrocketing, maybe ignore the heart rate. I have a runner in Houston, Texas, who is running at an appropriate speed, and we figured that out based on a 1 mile time trial. Take that 1 mile time trial speed, and you can extrapolate, what should an easy pace be for you. He's not running too hard, but his heart rate is a little higher than I would think typical. And so in his case, his heart rate just shoots up, but he's running at the appropriate speed, the appropriate effort. And so we kind of ignore the heart rate. It has come down with training, but we go with pace. Okay, so when it comes to a budget fitness tracker for your runs, you have two real options. You probably have a smartphone already. Download Strava, and you're probably good to go. Get a running belt, a flip belt, or a spy belt, and you've got a pretty decent tracker. It does a good job. Now for a dedicated running watch, I have a Coros Pace 2. It's budget. It's a 200 USD retail, but it's the one I recommend all the time. It's fantastic. The lightest GPS watch available. It has heart rate. You can get some phone notifications. It has 30 hours of typical, normal battery life tracking. 30 hours of tracking, so you don't have to charge it that often. It's a fantastic watch. Everybody I recommend it to absolutely loves it. So, and you could actually, you could probably find the Coros Pace 1 used for sale. Also a great option. This is a common question I get is from my runners: how close is a double day to a single long run if something comes up? And one of my runners just asked me this 4 days ago, and I said, it's not splitting up a 12 miler into two 6 milers isn't quite as good as a 12 miler, but it's 95% of the way there. And if you've been doing good, consistent long runs in prep for a half or a full marathon, and you have to break up one, maybe two long runs, who cares? It's not going to negatively affect anything. Running on tired legs is a good training tactic. And splitting up one, maybe two long runs, doesn't matter. You still get training adaptation, fitness improvement. It's just different. Now, I wouldn't do it with every long run, but once in a while, totally okay.